Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course. We're going to talk about how to grow your Instagram fan base. Let's just go ahead and jump right in, and this is video number 1. And let's talk about a quick overview of what's inside this video course so that you know exactly what to expect. Of course, this is video number 1. Video number 2, we're going to talk about a list of things that you need to do before you can actually drive traffic. So before we actually jump right into the 4 different traffic sources that we've pinpointed to figure out what is best as far as driving traffic with Instagram, I want to talk about a few things and just prepare you so that you're able to start out on the right foot. Video number 3 is going to be broad niche and specific posts. Video number 4 is going to talk about demographics. It's a big mistake that a lot of people just jump straight into trying to drive traffic without really trying to think, okay, who am I trying to attract? If you don't know who you're trying to attract, then it's going to be hard and going to be difficult on what you're trying to do. And then you're just trying to hit everything. You're just trying to drive tons of traffic, and at the end of the day, yes, you might have a massive list of 100,000 people, but it doesn't matter if you're not building a quality list. So that's what we're going to talk about in mindset in just a minute. So after that, we'll talk about traffic source number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. All right. So now what I want to do is talk about mindset. I really want you to think about quality over quantity. That's why I brought up the issue with you don't want a list of 100,000 followers unless those followers are super targeted and they are your demographics. That's when it's okay. But at the end of the day, I don't really want you to think, oh, I need a list of, I have to have a list of 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. So it's easy to get trapped into I want a large following. But really what you don't want to do is you don't want pride to ruin your profits. If you look at a lot of people who have big lists, they're like, I've got this big list. So it's really showy, it's really prideful, and I don't want you to get in that mindset because it's not about pride, it's not about the big list. It's about providing valuable content to your followers to the point that they love you, they love your content, and they're willing to buy from you versus somebody else. All right. So that's what I'm trying to get at right here. So it's better to have 100 fans who love and engage your content versus 1,000 fans who don't really like or view your content, right? So start with this mindset first and you will become more successful. All right. So what do you need? Well, obviously you need an Instagram account. We assume that your account is well branded and converts as well. So meaning that your account has, your brand on it, whether if it's your personal brand or your company brand, you have an idea that Instagram is all about lifestyle, right? People may have found you via Facebook, which Facebook is all about discovery. And then Instagram is all about, oh, okay, I know more about you, but I want to get to know you. So that's what Instagram is all about, all right? So I assume you have a better idea of that and you have a good, Instagram profile and you're ready to begin driving traffic. But if you haven't really touched base yet, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in the next couple videos. And that way you're able to start out on the right foot. But the main goal of this video course is, of course, to get your traffic strategies that actually work. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to video number 2. Welcome back. This is video number 2, and let's talk about what you need to do before you can drive traffic. So there are a few things that you must have. Aside from having an Instagram account, you need to make sure that your account is well branded. Meaning the type of person that you are attracting is going to really want to follow your personal or company lifestyle. Now, I touched briefly about this before, but if you're not well aware of this, as you know, different social media platforms are different, right? So Instagram is all about the lifestyle. People follow you on Instagram because they want to know more about you on a very granular level, meaning they want to know more about your lifestyle. So let's say, for example, like scuba diving. All right. So with scuba diving, they're going to want to know more, not just about scuba diving, but they want to know, what you're doing like before scuba diving and all that, right? So they kind of get to know you on a better, more personal level. So you need to figure out, are you doing this as a personal lifestyle, or is this a company brand lifestyle? So obviously brand lifestyle would be a little bit different, but personal would be more on a personal level, right? So your branding needs to address that. How well your profile resonates with your target audience is one of the most important things, because it's kind of make it or break it. So Instagram is all about that. And as you know, like YouTube is all about entertainment. People go there to kind of waste time, and they're not really thinking. They might want to go there to learn, but they're also there to kind of waste time and all that. So that's a different platform and different atmosphere. So as you know, you can't really go to a different culture and act differently, right? Otherwise, you're going to stand out and you're not going to fit. So I'm not saying you need to fit a specific person, but rather you need to fit a specific platform. Like I said earlier, Facebook is all about discovery. Like, people go to Facebook and they might discover your brand or you, right? So they want to know more about you, and they therefore go to Instagram. So as long as you have that kind of, okay, this is what I need to do in Instagram. I need to pick and choose pictures that fit content, or pictures that showcase our personal or our company lifestyle, then that's what the type of mindset, that's where you need to be. All right. So if you get this right, the type of people that follow you are going to be higher quality type. All right. So that's your goal at the end of the day. Get 100 people that really love and consume and engage and like and heart your Instagram pictures, versus getting 2,000 people and maybe getting like one like here or there. All right. So that's kind of the mindset that I want you to be into. All right. So like I said, let's talk about scuba diving for a minute. Let's say we are selling the latest, greatest scuba diving mask. This mask will allow you to breathe on, go underwater and view the beautiful things underwater for a longer period of time. Maybe it's easier, whatever. So in order to do this, you're going to need a profile that attracts this type of person, that gets them excited by showing them the lifestyle besides the scuba mask. So like, for example, on Facebook, you might sell a scuba mask, or even on YouTube, you might show how to use it. But on Instagram, you want to show the lifestyle around it, right? So you might want to show scuba diving lifestyle, what happens during the day, maybe before you go scuba diving, maybe afterwards, or just the lifestyle, so people can kind of see, okay, this is how it fits into my life. And I got some ideas, I got some inspiration, I'm going to go buy your product, kind of thing. All right, so selling on Instagram is very indirect. It's not direct at all. In fact, if it is direct, you're on the direct response marketing does not work very well on Instagram, right? So keeping that in mind, you might want to integrate the scuba mask into the whole picture, and that way they have a better idea of, okay, this is how it fits into my life and all that. People want your product or service simply because it not only solves a problem, but the keyword that I used earlier is inspiration. A lot of times people go to Instagram to get inspiration, to get ideas on how to incorporate it into their lives. So they can see from your lifestyle, they see different inspiration, different ideas that they can take back. And if they feel that they have gotten value from you, they're more likely and more inclined to actually purchase from you, right? So that's what you need to do before you can think traffic. Traffic is easy, but getting your profile set up right, picking the pictures that you need to choose that fit the lifestyle and the style of your brand is crucial. Now, another thing that I want to say is if you're looking for pictures, you can go on sites like bigstockphoto.com, you can go on graphicriver.net, and what I recommend that you do is you find pictures that fit a similar style. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 3, and let's talk about broad niche and specific posts. Basically, how to set your profile up in such a way that it attracts the right person. And it'll make more sense as I dive into this. So now that we've discussed why branding and attracting a very specific person is important, the question is, how do we attract them? Well, your main profile should cover a broad niche, and that's why this is titled Broad Niche and Specific Post. So what does that look like? Well, it shouldn't be too broad, but it should be broad enough that it attracts a specific person of a specific mindset. And then, of course, your content posts, which are your pictures, then should be more specific. Now, while that makes common sense, I'm actually going to jump in. I'm going to show you how to actually do things in just a minute. So here's what I mean. Let's say you're targeting scuba diving, all right? So if that's the case, you should use a general or broad keyword related to scuba diving. Now, if you want to do scuba diving, that's fine. Maybe you want to do something more specific, like you're just scuba diving masks, all right? So you can focus just in on that as your broad niche keyword. But you don't want to be too specific because you want to attract somebody of a similar mindset. So in that case, you might want to do like a scuba diving profile. Now, if you're a company, that's a little different. If you're a personal lifestyle, you can go a little bit more broad with a personal lifestyle. So with a company, you kind of have to do it a little bit more specific. But if it is specific for your profile, your posts need to be more specific. Now, I'm going to show you different ways and different tools that you can use to actually break things down so that you can brainstorm more specific keywords. And that way, instead of just posting to post, you have a reason to post, and then you have the ability to post things that people actually want. All right. So we're going to use Google Suggest Keywords, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to actually do all of this. All right. So this will allow you to find high demand, high search keywords that people really want, and you're not just thinking, okay, this is something that I feel like is going to work. You're actually using actual data from Google that actually says that these are keywords that people want to know. All right. So that way, instead of figuring things out yourself, you're just taking a look really quick. As you'll see in just a minute, we're going to do it really quick. You're going to have it in hand, and you're basically going to have a roadmap to actually what to do, basically. And you can use this later out. So for now, let me jump right in and let me go ahead and show you this in action. So obviously, before you can do this, you need to have an idea of what you want to sell, right? So that way it'll tell you whether you need to do scuba diving mask that is a little bit more specific but yet general, or you need to just do a widespread scuba diving, very, very general, right? So you need to know that before you actually do this research, because it's just going to make life a lot easier if you do it this way. So let's say, for example, that we're going to do scuba diving. We don't really care about the masks or anything like that. So all you do is just type in scuba diving, and then you can scroll all the way down to the very bottom, and you're going to see the following. So you're going to see scuba diving gear, scuba diving meaning, equipment, facts, dangers, Goa, whatever that is, and then videos, and difference between scuba diving and snorkeling and all of that. So you could even go further and type scuba diving gear and see what you find here. So we can go down to the very bottom again, and these are basically Google suggested keywords. That means that there is a very high demand for these keywords. That means people are searching for these keywords. So you could take these and you could break them down, and you could say, okay, my profile is targeting scuba diving. So what you could do is make sure that you focus on maybe different types of gear packages, gear or tanks, different equipment and all that, and how that integrates into your lifestyle. Obviously, if you're going to do scuba diving and that's part of your lifestyle, then hopefully, you're teaching something that you're already familiar with. So that's going to be a lot easier. You just take pictures of your scuba diving gear. Now, if you're doing this for like affiliate marketing and you're not really scuba diving, then of course you kind of have to get creative. And then of course you can go to places like I said, like Big Stock Photo, and find images. So how about I do that just right now? So this is bigstockphoto.com, and let's say we'll type in scuba diving. Now, what I mentioned earlier about styles is if you go through here, you'll start to begin to notice there's a very specific style, because different artists, different photographers are different, right? So maybe you really like a certain picture. So if you click on it, Big Stock Photo will actually tell you who the contributor is. In this case, it is Rich Carey. So if you click here, you can actually see all of the photos by him. So then your pictures actually begin to look very similar. Somebody looks at it and they're like, okay, the style is very similar and therefore the brand is very similar. The problem is a lot of times if you're picking and choosing different photos from different authors, they look totally different, and then it kind of creates this uneasiness, right? So people don't know how to say it, or they don't know how to explain it, but they just feel uneasy. So that's why when let's say you have specific keywords that you find, and you want to make sure that the images that match that also match each other, right? Because at the end of the day with Instagram, it's big in images, so people will judge you by often the 9 images that show up on your profile first. So you might want to take a look at these bigstockphoto.com or Shutterfly or are these other royalty-free image sites. So that's what I would do as far as finding, keywords, starting with the broad keyword, which is very easy. That's whatever you want to sell, and then breaking it down from that point on. Now, another tool that you could use is the Google Keyword Planner, but honestly, I feel like this is the easiest way to do things. Plus, you're also seeing the suggest keywords, which are what people actually are typing in a good amount of. Now, you could also use other suggest search engines like Amazon.com. So let's go over there for now. So Amazon.com is a great place to go to simply because if you notice, if you type here, let's say scuba diving. So as you are about to complete the sentence, you can see that it also gives you suggestions like scuba diving equipment, fins, regulator, mask, lights, computer, and knife and equipment package. So Amazon, as you know, people go here to buy products and goods. So they're more likely to show you what is actually profitable. So you can get keywords from here. You can also go to places like eBay. You can go to Walmart. You can even go to YouTube.com to get an idea of what people are looking for. You can also go to Instagram as well. So this is kind of how you can figure out the specific posts, and from here you can break it down even further. So for example, let's say scuba diving mask. So we type in scuba diving mask, and you can see that it breaks it down further. Scuba diving mask and snorkel, diving mask set, case for kids, frameless, defogger, strap cover, and GoPro mount. So you could even break it down further. Let's say strap. Let's see what we get. So sometimes it'll stop at that point. So set, dive it. So let's just take a look at scuba diving masks and see what we get. And from there, you can figure out, okay, these items are selling the most. Maybe I'll do a lifestyle review on that or something. And there you go. That's basically all you have to do. Nothing complex, and I didn't want to make it complex at all. So like I said, just a quick recap. Number one, get your main keyword. Number two, get your specific keywords and turn those specific keywords into specific posts. Okay, so welcome back. This is video number 4. Let's talk about demographics, which is really crucial to understanding who you are targeting before you actually begin to drive traffic. Because the worst thing that you can do is drive traffic without even knowing who you need to target. What age, what, sex, female, male, whatever, and all that. The life stage and all that is very, very important, because if you attract the wrong person, then you're not going to get really the conversions that you're looking for, right? So don't invest any money yet. Let's talk about demographics. So like I said, before you can use any traffic source 1, 2, 3, 4, you need to do this research. I'm going to make it quick as possible so you can get an idea. You can go do it yourself, and you can be on the road to figuring out how to build up your Instagram following. So basically, you need to know who you're targeting. Like I said, male, female, age, life stage, all that. And you can get all that information for free by using a free tool. Now, this way you find a high quality follower who will love, consume, and engage with your content if done right. So here's how to do it. Basically, the way it works is once you have found your broad keyword, which you should have figured out in the previous video, you can use the free Facebook Audience Insight tool, as I will show you in just a minute. Okay, so the best way to get to the Facebook Audience Insights tool is simply by going to business.facebook.com/ads/audience-insights, and that should forward you here. If you have any problems, you can always go to google.com, do a search for the Facebook Audience Insights tool, and you should find the link here. So sometimes Facebook will change the links, so that is the case. That is how to always find it out. So the way and the reason why I like the Facebook Audience Insights tool is it really drills down to the point that you can see who your demographic is. Now, the best way to do that, especially if you're getting started out, is you can do it in 2 different ways. You can either go find a magazine that is very popular in that niche, or you can simply type in the interest here. So up at the top, you can search for a specific country. So normally it sets you within the country that you're searching from. In this case, from United States, and you can always click the X and you can add like UK, Canada, Australia, or whatever else countries that you're looking for. You can also specify the age and gender, but I wouldn't do that right now. In fact, I wouldn't do anything right now. The only thing that I would do is under the interest, I would put the actual interest. So I would put a very broad keyword. So in this case, I would do scuba diving. So if you notice, if I put scuba mask, it doesn't even show up. So what you're looking for is a very, very broad keyword. So in this case, scuba diving. Now, what's even better is if you can find like a magazine. Let's see if this one's a magazine. Yeah, so this one's a magazine. And the reason why magazines are great is because magazines they'll do everything in their power to promote their magazine. So they get a lot of traffic coming to their page. So if you can find a Facebook page as well, that would be great as well. But as you can see here, we can see 61% is men. And then of course, 39% are women. The majority of men, it looks to be from the ages 35 to age 54. Same with the females as well. So there's females, males, it seems like the largest group is 35 to 54. So after you have a better idea of the age and gender, you can of course take a look at the lifestyle, which will give you a better idea of what kind of pictures you can use for your Instagram profile. Looks like there's a lot of married and college, well educated, and there's a lot of veterans, government, and military. So we have a better idea of what kind of pictures that we should choose. You can go to page likes and get an idea of the different pages. Go to these pages, take a look at the pages, see which images get the highest comments, the highest likes, and then maybe use similar images for yourself as well. Location is okay, but it doesn't really matter right now. Really what we care more about is just the demographics and the page likes. And that's all you have to do. Now, if you want to narrow into a very specific area, let's say men 45 to 54, you can always click this and get a better narrow view. But even if you click that, we can see that it's about pretty much the same. So once you're done with that, you are good to go to the next video. Welcome to video number 5. Let's talk about traffic source number 1. So the first source is called shoutouts. The way this works is by finding another Instagram follower who has a massive following, then paying them to promote you. So instead of contacting them, which you can do if you want to, there are many different sites out there that you'll be able to find these Instagram influencers and then approach them, pay them money, and then of course get them to build essentially and promote your Instagram profile. There really aren't many methods that you can use to get tons of followers overnight, but this is one of them few. So let me go ahead and show you some sites that you can use, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so there are a few places that you can go to get shoutouts. And keep in mind that when you grow your Instagram profile to a point, you can do this as well and make some extra money on the side. But there are tons of people out there with massive size Instagram accounts. They might be directly related and they may not. So another reason why you really need to know your demographics is, let's say we can't find somebody who is scuba diving Instagram profile. If that's the case, then we need to look for something out of the box, like maybe camping or something of that nature, where we find people who maybe not necessarily are fanatical scuba divers, but they want to see the coral reefs and they want to see the beautiful ocean, but they're campers. They love the experience already. So you might need to look at other niches and bring them over. So that's just something to keep in mind, because you're not always going to find somebody who has an exact profile in your niche. If you do, then great, that's awesome. But I just want to go over a few sites that you can go to for now. The first one being shoutcart.com. That's shoutcart.com. Another one is shoutotter.com. And you can see that you can see the different shout outs that you can get access to. And we have plughype.com. So you can see there are many different things like fitness, there's recipes and health and fitness, yoga, and all that. So let's go over here and we got buysellshoutouts.com. And then of course on fiverr.com, fiverr.com, you can also type in Instagram shout out and you'll be able to find a bunch here. Now keep in mind, make sure that they are either targeted, or if they are not, the demographic that they're trying to attract is a similar demographic you have. So if you don't know, always contact them and say, hey, my demographic is male, ages from 25 to such and such. I was just curious to make sure that your audience is very similar as well. So they should know that kind of stuff. If they don't know, then don't use them, because you want to make sure that you find somebody who is knowledgeable. But if you go to shoutcart.com, you can create a free account. You can click on browse up at the top, and you can do a search for the keyword. So like I said, I clicked on this one here, but you can see that for a 2-hour shout, which means they're going to shout out to their audience. They're going to say, hey, follow this guy over here. They can, for 2 hours, it's only $5. For 24 hours, it's $10. For a permanent shout out, that's $15. So you can go here, check it out. These other ones are good as well. Now, Fiverr, I will say be careful. Some of these people specifically, and other sites as well, but some people create their Instagram profiles for this very reason. So maybe they have a large following, but at the end of the day, they don't really have quality followers. And the way you know that is by clicking this right here or doing a search for their name and doing your own due diligence and figuring out, okay, are they actually getting comments, likes, and all of that? Or are they just blasting a bunch of stuff and they're not getting any engagement, right? So it's better to actually buy something, a shout out from somebody who is actually getting engagement, all right? Hello and welcome back. This is video number 6, traffic source number 2. There are a very few software apps out there that will allow you to find other Instagram followers in your specific niche and follow them. Now, of course, this is a warning to you that Instagram has in the past banned some of these apps, so use this at your own risk. If you want to do the white hat way, I would do traffic source number 1, number 3, and number 4. But even number 3 and 4, you can get banned if you overdo it. So the key here is not to overdo it. Instagram, I believe someone said that you have about 500 actions that you can take for every 24 hours, meaning likes, comments, and all that. More than that is just going to look spammy. So typically, if you're just getting started, it's probably best if you start at a lower rate, like 100, and then increase it to maybe 150 or more. But if you start out and do like 400 likes, 400 follows, and all that, that's just going to red flag the algorithm, and you do not want to go down that path. All right. So one specific software is called Follow Adder. That's FOLLOWADDER, and this will allow you to basically find Instagram influencers in your niche and then follow them. So you can follow, you can unfollow Instagram users, you can schedule posts, and another way to get more followers is to even post more. So the more you post, the more exposure that you will get, especially if you are piggybacking on hashtags, which we'll talk later on. But Follow Adder is a software tool, it's a bot that will automatically do a lot of things for you. But as we've seen with other industries as well, a lot of times big companies will crack down and they'll ban the accounts. So just keep in mind that we've seen that with LinkedIn, we've seen that with Facebook, we've seen that with just about any social media platform. So the key here is do it lightly and, of course, use this at your own risk. Hello and welcome to video number 7, which is traffic source number 1. Hashtags. Even though hashtags is one of the few methods that are popular in the world of social media and very common, hashtags on Instagram are well used all over Instagram. In fact, if you take a look at a Instagram post, a lot of times you'll find that there are 5, 6, 7 different hashtags all in one post. Now, before you can use hashtags, however, you need to have a good set of keywords. A lot of times people just put random hashtags in hopes that they are going to generate traffic. But you're going to do it differently, and instead you're going to find keywords that are already getting traffic to them, and you're going to use those hashtags. So from prior videos, like the videos earlier where we talked about Google suggest keywords and Amazon suggest keywords, you can simply take these specific keywords and break them up for even further. Now, the nice thing about hashtags is you're basically piggybacking on already existing traffic. People are already hashtagging these specific hashtags. There are already traffic going to them. All right. So just like a Google search engine on Instagram, using keywords will allow you to attract a high quality fan of a similar passion. So it's time to do a little brainstorming. Okay, so like I said, Instagram is mainly images. However, to describe your images it uses a lot of different hashtags. So you don't want to just use a bunch of random tags. You want to use hashtags that are actually getting traffic. Now, certain hashtags or keywords could be getting a large amount of super targeted traffic, so you'll want to use them strategically. So the question is, how do you know if a certain hashtag is getting enough traffic? Well, you could easily find this out by using BuzzSumo and other tools as well. So you want to find a handful of keywords that express your content post and piggyback on that traffic. So if that post is something that intrigues your audience and you've done all the demographical research and all that, then and it's high converting essentially, then you should get a lot of likes and comments and all that. So from that, you want to take a bundle of hashtags that are getting a lot of traffic and you want to combine them into a sentence without making it look like spam. So let me show you how BuzzSumo and other tools work to achieve this. Now, before I start, I want to warn you that when using hashtags, even with hashtags, you can get your account banned if you post too many posts with the same exact hashtag over and over and over again. So basically, at the end of the day, the advice that I can give you is to look as natural as possible. Do not look spammy at all, otherwise you will trigger the algorithm and trigger a red flag and potentially get bans. So like I said in the previous video, if you overdo anything, that's not a good thing. Keep it normal as much as possible. So I'm going to show you two different tools. The first one is buzzsumo.com, which will basically help you figure out and analyze what content performs the best for any topic or competitor. So this is kind of a first step. It allows you to figure out what content is performing best. And then of course, we're going to use a second tool called Hashtagify.me. That's Hashtagify.me. And this software tool, it's free. It allows you to basically find and analyze hashtags. All right. So it's a two-step process. So the first thing you can do is you can either enter the domain name of a competitor. So if you're starting out, obviously you don't have the data and anything like that. So you could find the website of your competitor and enter that here, or you can enter a general keyword, like in this case, scuba diving, just to keep things more consistent. So we type that in and we do the search. We can filter by date, like what is the content that is hot within the last 24 hours, the past week, the past month, the past 6 months, and the past year. So if something is trending just recently, you might want to do at a recent date. And if it's consistent throughout many years, we could choose like the past 5 years. Now, the thing about BuzzSumo is it does cost money to upgrade, but there is a free version, and the free version you can get some ideas. All right. So what we're doing here, you type in scuba diving and you can see what kind of content is really doing really well. So we can see like this one gets 68,000 Facebook engagement. We got Pinterest and all that. We can't necessarily see what's going on in Instagram, but Facebook is a good indication because, and then we have Pinterest as well. Pinterest is also a good indication as well because Pinterest is somewhat similar to Instagram in the sense that it's mainly images. So if we click on Pinterest shares and we can sort it, we can see what is actually doing really well as far as pictures go, right? So we can see the majority of these are like diving gear. So they're definitely selling stuff right here, right? So differences between a dive, a snorkel mask, diving gear. So if we click on one of these, we can take a look at the content and just get an idea of the actual pictures that are involved in all of that. So with Instagram, you can't really link the image to like a URL except for the one URL that you get in your profile. So really what you're looking for is images that are engaging, that are getting high volumes of shares and all of that. Now, what you need to do is next is once you get some ideas at BuzzSumo, you can hop on over to hashtagify.me. So let's type in a hashtag. I've done that just now, scuba diving. And we can see that what it'll do is it'll take your keyword and it'll find the other keywords that are surrounding it, like travel, ocean, scuba diving, scuba adventure, underwater, and more. So these are good. And to the right here, you can see this is taken from Twitter. But think about it. We can see that these are the top ones, right? So if they're the top ones, you can simply come here and just grab these hashtags and use them for yourself. But this allows you to find hashtags that are getting traffic. So we could go here, we could type scuba, and we could look under Twitter and see what's going on. But this basically just allows us and gives us an idea of what different hashtags you could potentially use. Now, to get a better gauge on what the volume of traffic that particular hashtag is getting, you'd have to actually go on Instagram. And Instagram is a platform mainly via mobile, but we can actually go there now. Now, one thing you'll notice is that if you go to Instagram.com, you will have to log in. The one way to bypass that is simply by going to Instagram.com/Instagram, as you can see here in the address bar. So once you go here, you will see a search engine and you can begin to search for tags. So let's do a search for scuba. And just like the Google Suggest Keywords, you can see with Instagram, it also gives you suggestions, right? So we got scuba diving girl, scuba diving woman, scuba diving life, scuba diving magazine for mag. So let's just click on that real quick and see what they're posting. So that's the scuba diving mag, and that has 14,000 posts. And if we just put our mouse over, we can see, okay, this one has like 1,700 hearts, which are basically likes, one comment. Then we scroll down, we can see this has 180, 352, 173. So that's a good sign when you can see that there are a good amount of hearts or likes. So you could include something like scuba diving right here and see how many posts it gets. So there's 2,000 posts, which does mean that as you post things, they can get stuck down below, but at the same time, more saturation is actually a good thing, because more saturation means that there are a large amount of people actually looking for these posts. So the more you post, you can get more traffic back to your Instagram profile. But using hashtagify.me allows you to kind of gauge what kind of hashtags you can use, and of course you can verify that via Instagram. Now, before I end this video, I want to say the best way to learn how to kind of bundle your hashtags is if you go to something like this. For example, you see this is only using like one hashtag, so they could be using a few more. I wouldn't use a ton of hashtags, but as you can see, they're definitely using a good amount of hashtags, probably about 5 or 6 or so. But let's just keep clicking. So this one here is a good example. We can see scuba diving, scuba, Ecuador, dive, a bunch of keywords related to like animals, save your sharks and stuff. So this guy is piggybacking on different organizations like Save Our Seas, Save Our Sharks, South America. So basically he's taken all these keywords or hashtags that relate to each other but also relate to this picture and hashtags them. And that's great. So he's hashtagged about 10, 15 different hashtag keywords, and he's got a good amount of likes and all that. Now, I will say, like I said earlier, don't take these keywords and hashtag every single post. Use different posts and different keywords every single time. So you could use scuba and scuba diving consistently, but you want to kind of mix it up. Make it look like you're not spamming. Welcome
Hello
back.
and
This
welcome
is
to
video number
8,
7, which is
this is
traffic
going to be
source
traffic
number 1.
source number 4. So
Hashtags.
congratulations, you have
Even
reached
though
the end
hashtags
of this
is one of
video
the few
course.
methods that are popular.
So this is somewhat
in the world of
a
social
media
media
of
and very
traffic
common
and optimization.
Hashtags
This is
on
something
Instagram
that most people
are
forget about,
well
but
used
by doing
all over
so, you
Instagram.
will
In fact, if you
higher
take a look
in the
at
Instagram
ranking
post,
system, the
a lot of
algorithm,
times you'll
and all
find
that,
there
and
are
that will help
5,
you.
6,
So
7
basically, if you
different
think about it, if you
hashtags
optimize
all
your
in one
post,
then you'll
now,
tell
before
Instagram
you can use
where you
hashtags,
need to be
however,
ranked.
you need
You'll
to
attract
have
the right
a good
person,
set of
and
keywords.
then
A lot of
you
times
will
people
get
just put
the
random
right traffic,
hashtags
you get more
in
conversions,
hopes
likes,
that they are going
and then
to
you'll
generate
increase
traffic.
your rank.
But
So the next
you're going to do it
traffic
differently,
source is
and
image
instead you're going to
captions.
find keywords.
Believe it or
that
not,
are already
your
getting
image
traffic
captions
to
make
them,
or break,
and you're going to use
whether
those
you attract
hashtags.
the right or wrong
So
person.
from prior videos,
If you don't put
like
image
the videos
captions
earlier,
and
where we
you
talked about
solely
Google
rely
suggests
on the
keywords
image
and Amazon
and the
suggests
hashtags,
keywords, you can
then
simply
you're
take
not
these specific
actually
keywords
getting
and
the
break
full
the
potential
potential
of
even further
traffic that you
Now, the
could
nice thing
be
about
getting.
hashtags is
So
you're
in other words,
basically
you want to be as
piggybacking
descriptive as
on already
possible
existing
without
traffic.
being
People
spammy
already
like the hashtags,
hashtagging
and
these specific
you want to
hashtags.
have
There
captions
are
for
already
your
traffic
images going
So on
to
top
them,
of the hashtags,
right?
if you
So
do it all
just
right,
like a Google
you have
search
other
engine on
keywords that you
Instagram,
can
using
essentially
keywords
stuff
will
in.
allow you to
And
attract
that's the nice thing about Instagram
is
fan
you can literally
of a
stuff
similar
in a bunch
passion.
of keywords
So
and
it's
actually
time
get away
to
with
do
it
a little
and be
brainstorming.
okay, because that's what they're looking
Okay,
for.
so like
so
I said,
also you want to
Instagram
make
is
sure that
mainly
they are
images.
optimized
However,
towards
to describe
who
your images,
you want
it
to
uses
attract.
a lot of different
So
hashtags.
the key here
So you
is
don't
to
wanna just
optimize
use a
your
bunch of
captions
random
or
tags.
hashtags
You want to
or
use
pictures
hashtags
even,
that are actually
and
getting
much
traffic.
more.
So while
Now,
this
certain
may not
hashtags or
sound like a
keywords
powerful
could be getting a
technique,
large
like a
amount of super
mind-blowing
targeted
traffic
source,
so
and
you'll
all
want
that.
to use
It's
them
because you're
strategically.
tapping into the
So
Instagram
the question
algorithm.
is, how do you know
once you get
if a
this
certain
right, you get the
hashtag
hashtags right,
is getting
and you do
enough
your shout outs
traffic?
and all that?
Well,
you can
could
really
easily find
kickstart
this out
and
by
jumpstart
using
everything
BuzzSumo
so that you can begin
and other tools
to
as well.
start creating
So you
a
wanna
snowball
find a
effect.
handful
So
of
the
keywords
shout
that
outs will
express your
help
content
you
post
in getting
and
people
piggyback
to
on
your
page
and all
traffic.
that.
So
But
if
by
that
doing
post
that, you
is
start
something
building a
that
snowball that's
intrigues
just going
your
downhill.
audience,
and
you've done
as
all
you know,
the
with the
demographical
snowball
research
as
and
it
all
goes
that,
downhill, it just gets
then
bigger
it's
and bigger
higher
and
burning,
bigger,
essentially,
because you got
then
all this optimization
you should get a lot
right.
of likes.
All right,
and
so let me show you some
comments and all that.
examples of how this
So
works.
from that, you want to take a
Okay, so what I
want
want to do is I want to show you a very
a lot of
quick
traffic, and
difference
you want to combine
between
them
a brand
into a
and
sentence
a
without making
personal
it look like spam.
lifestyle
So let me show
kind
you
of
how BuzzSumo
Instagram profile
and other tools work.
So
to
first things
achieve
first, this one here is
Now,
Scuba
before I
Diving
start, I want to
Magazine.
warn
So
you that when
very,
using
very
hashtags,
kind of
even with hashtags,
this is how it
you
is
can get
kind of thing.
your account
A Scuba Lab
banned
test
if
driver
you
scores
post
a regular
too many posts
during our
with the same
in-water
exact
gear
hashtag.
test.
So they're
over
telling
and
them
over
what's
and over
happening,
again. So
who it
basically,
is,
at
what's
the
in
end of the
picture,
day,
but also more
the
importantly,
advice that
what
I can
they
give
are
you
doing.
is to look
so it's part of
as
their
natural
lifestyle, part
as
of their
possible.
day.
Do not
It's
like, hey,
spammy
this is what we're doing
at
today,
all.
kind of thing.
Otherwise, you will
So this
trigger
is the
the
caption,
algorithm,
and
of
trigger a
course,
red flag.
there's
and potentially
the hashtags
get
here.
banned.
So, like I said
Now,
in the
on
previous
a
video,
more personal
if you overdo anything,
profile, we can
that's
see
not
that the
a good
caption
thing.
is
keep it happy
normal
international
as much as possible.
whale shark.
So I'm going to show
day
you
to
two
all
different
shark-loving
tools.
friends.
The first one is BuzzSumo.com, which
it's
will
not really
basically
related
help
to the
you
picture
figure
itself,
out and analyze what
but it is
content
engaging
performs
with
the
the
best
audience. So you could
for
do that
any
as well.
topic
But
or competitor.
if you
So this is
use
kind of
captions
a
that are related to the post,
first step, but
it
are
allows
also
you to figure out
engaging
what content
as well
is performing
that's a
best.
bonus and can help
And then,
you
of
as
course,
well.
we're going to use
So as you
a
can see,
second tool
you
called
got hash
captions here.
Tagify.
You have
hashtags,
hashtags, that's
and you have a
Hashtagify
good picture.
.me.
A lot of people, what
And
they do
this
is they
software
just post
tool,
a
it's free. It
picture,
allows you to
maybe some
basically
captions,
find
and no
analyze
hashtags.
or they
right?
do hashtags.
So it's a
and
two-step
very
process.
little captions.
So the first thing you can
if
do
that.
is
So
you can either
you kind of what
enter
you want to
the
do is what
domain
I'm trying
name
to tell you
of a
is
competitor.
basically
So
balance it out.
If you're starting out,
keep
obviously
everything
you don't have the
so
data
that you
and
have
anything
everything
like that.
optimized.
So you could
and
find
you're able to
the
rank
website of your
in the
competitor
Instagram
and
algorithm.
enter that here.
Now,
Or
like
you
I
can
said, go
enter
back
a
to
general keyword
Instagram.com/Instagram
scuba diving doing.
get an
just to keep
idea,
things
take a look
more
at what people
consistent.
are doing in your
So
niche.
we type that in.
what
Posts
and
are
we do the
actually
search.
getting good engagement.
We can filter
and all
by
that.
date,
Don't
like what
copy
is
people,
the
but you
content that is
can
hot within
use
the
similar
last
hashtags
24
that they're
hours,
doing
the past
well
week,
on.
the past month,
Take a look
the past
at
6 months,
people that are
and the
authorities
past
in your
year.
niche.
So
that are
if
doing
something
well
is
and kind of
trending
follow them
just
and analyze
recently,
them,
you might want to do
at a
and
recent date,
potentially
and if
mimic
it's
them
consistent
as well.
throughout
Now,
many years, we
besides
could choose
images,
like
I'll
past
say
5
videos
years.
work really well.
Now, the thing about
But
BuzzSumo
as you know,
is
with
it does cost
Instagram,
money
you can't really
to
take
upgrade
long
but
videos
there
like
is a
you
free
would
version
on YouTube.
and the free version you can
Videos
get
will
some
be like
ideas,
short, very
alright?
short,
So
10-second or less.
what we're doing here, you
clips.
type in scuba
so
diving.
if you can do that,
and
you can also
you can
use
see what
that
kind of content
to
is
increase
really
your
doing
engagement
really
as
well. So we can see like this one gets
Welcome back. This is
68,000
video number 8.
Facebook engagement.
This is going
We
to be
got
traffic
Pinterest
source
and all
number
that.
4. So
we can't
congratulations,
necessarily
you
see
have
what's
reached
going on
the
in
end
Instagram,
of this
but
video
Facebook
course.
is a good indication.
So this is somewhat a
because
mixture
then
of
we have
traffic
Pinterest
and
as well.
optimization.
Pinterest
This
is also a good
something
indication
that
as well
most people
because
forget
Pinterest
about.
is
But by
somewhat
doing
similar
so,
to
you will
Instagram
rank
in the sense
higher
that
in the
it's
Instagram
mainly images.
ranking
So
system,
if
the
we click
algorithm,
on
and all
Pinterest
that, and that will
shares,
help you. So basically, if you think about it,
and we
if you
can sort it,
optimize
we
your
can see
post,
what is
then
actually doing
you'll
really
tell
well as far
Instagram
as
where you need to
pictures
be
go,
ranked,
right?
You'll attract
so we
the
can
right
see
person.
the majority
and
of
then
these are like
you will
diving
get
gear,
the right traffic,
gear,
you'll get more conversions, likes.
So
and
they're
then
definitely
you'll
selling
increase your
stuff
rank
right here.
So the next
Right.
traffic source is image captions. Believe
So
it or
difference
not,
between
your
a
image
dive, a
captions
snorkel,
make or
mask,
break
diving
whether you
gear.
attract
So
the
if we
right
click
or
on one
wrong
of these,
person.
we can take a look
If
at
you
the
don't put
content
image captions
and just get an
and you
idea of
solely
the actual
rely on
pictures
the
that are
image
involved
and the hashtags,
and all of that.
then you're not actually.
So with Instagram,
getting
you
the
can't
full
really link
potential
the
of
image to
traffic
like a
that you
URL,
could be
except
getting.
for the one URL.
So
that
in other
you
words,
get
you want to
in
be
your
as descriptive
profile.
as
so really what you're
possible
looking
without
for
being
is images
spammy, like the
that
hashtags
are engaging,
and you want
that
to have
are getting
captions for
high
your images.
volumes of
So on
shares
top of
and
the
all that.
hashtags, if you
Now,
do it all
what you
right,
need to do is
you have
next
other
is
keywords that
once you get
can
some
essentially
ideas
stuff
at
in.
BuzzSumo,
And then that's
you can
the
hop
nice thing
on
about
over
Instagram
to
is you can literally stuff in a bunch of
Tagify.me.
keywords and actually
So
get away with it.
let's type in
and
a
be
hashtag.
okay,
I've done
because
that
that's
just
what they're
now.
looking for.
Scuba diving.
So also you want to make
And
sure
we can
that
see
they
that
are optimized towards
what it'll do
who
is
you
it'll
want
take your
to
keyword
attract.
and it'll
So
find
the
the other
key here is
keywords
to
that are
optimize your
surrounding
captions,
it,
your
like
hashtags,
travel,
your pictures, even
ocean,
and
much
scuba
more.
diving.
So while
scuba
this may not
sound like
adventure,
a powerful technique,
underwater,
like a mind-blowing
and more.
traffic source,
So these
and
are
all
good.
that,
And
it's
to the right
because
here,
you're
you can
tapping
see
into the Instagram
this is taken from
algorithm.
Twitter.
Once you get
But
this
think about
right,
it.
you get the hashtags
We can
right,
see that
you do
these
your
are the
shout
top
outs and all that. You can
ones,
really
right?
kickstart
So if
and
there's a top
jumpstart
ones,
everything so
you
that
can simply come here
begin
and just
to
grab these
start
hashtags
creating a snowball
and use them
effect.
for
So the
yourself.
shout outs will help
But this
you
allows
in
you to
getting
find
people
hashtags that
to
are
your
getting
page
traffic
and all that.
So we
But
could
by
go
doing
here,
that,
we
you
type
start building
scuba,
a snowball that's just going
and
downhill.
we can look
and
under
just-
Twitter
as
and
you
see
know,
what's going
with
on.
the snowball as it goes downhill, it just gets.
But this basically just
bigger
allows
and
us
bigger
and
and
gives us
bigger
an idea
because
of
you
what
got
different
all this
hashtags
optimization
you could
right.
potentially use.
All right, so let me
Now,
show you
to
some
get a better
examples
gauge
of
on
how this works.
what the volume of
Okay, so what I
traffic
want to
that
do is I want to show
hashtag
you
is
a
getting.
very quick
You'd have to actually
difference
go on
between
Instagram,
a
and
brand
Instagram
and
is a platform
personal
mainly via
lifestyle
mobile,
kind
but
of
we can actually go there
Instagram
now.
profile.
Now, one thing
So,
you'll notice
first things
is
first,
that
this
if you
one
go
here
to
is
Instagram diving
scuba.com.
magazine,
You will have
so
to log in.
Very, very.
The one way to
kind
bypass
of,
that is simply by
this is
going
how it
to
is kind of thing.
Instagram.
A Scuba Lab test driver scores
Instagram,
a regular
as you can see
during
here
our
in
in-water
the address
gear
bar.
test.
So once
So
you
they're
go
telling
here,
them what's
you'll
happening,
see a search
who it
engine,
is, what's in the
and
picture,
you can begin to
but also
search
more
for
importantly,
text. So
what
let's do
they
a
are
search
doing.
for
So it's part of their
scuba.
lifestyle, part of their day. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing today, kind of thing. So this is the
And
caption, and then of
just
course,
like the Google suggest
there's
keywords, you can see
the
with
hashtags
Instagram,
here.
it also gives you
now on a
suggestions.
more personal
right
profile.
So we got
we
scuba
can see that
diving.
the
scuba
caption
diving
is
girls, scuba
Happy
diving
International
woman,
Whale
scuba diving
Shark
life
Day
scuba diving
to all
magazine
shark-loving friends.
for mag. So let's just click
So
on that real quick and see what
It's
they're
not
posting.
really related
So
to the
that's
picture
the scuba
itself,
diving mag, and
but
that
it is
has
engaging with the audience. So
14,000
you could do that as
posts.
well. But
And if we just
put our
you
mouse over, we
use
can
captions
see
that are
okay,
related
this
to
one
the
has
post,
like 17,
but are also
hearts,
engaging
which are basically
as well.
likes,
That's
one
a
comment,
bonus and can help.
Then
you
we
as
scroll
well.
down. We can
So
see
as you
this
can
has
see,
180.
you got
352
captions here,
173.
You have hashtags.
So that's a good sign when
and
you
have
can
a good
see
picture.
that there are a good
A
amount
lot of people, what they do is they
hearts
just post
or
a
likes.
picture.
So you can include
maybe some
something like
captions
scuba
and no
diving
hashtag right here,
or they do
and see
hashtags
what
and very
how many
little
posts to get.
captions.
There's 2,000
that.
posts.
So
does
kind of
mean
what
that
you want to do
as
is
you
what I'm
post
trying to
things,
tell you is
they can get
basically
stuck
balance
down
it out
below, but at
keep
the same
everything
time,
so that
more
you have
saturation is
everything
actually a good thing,
optimized,
because more
and you're
saturation
able to rank
means that there
in the
are a
Instagram
large amount
algorithm.
of people actually looking.
Now, like I
for
said, go
these
back to
posts. So the more you post,
Instagram.com/Instagram,
you can get more traffic,
get an idea,
back to
take a look at
your
what people are doing
Instagram
in your
profile.
niche. But
What,
using hashtagify
posts are actually
allows
getting
you
good
to
engagement
kind
and
of
all that.
gauge
Don't copy
what kind of
people,
hashtags
but
you can
use, and of course you can
similar
verify
hashtags that they're
via
doing
Instagram.
well on.
Now,
take a
before I
look
end
at
this video,
people
I
that
want
are
to say
authorities
the
in
best
your
way to
niche
learn
that are doing
how
well
to
and
kind of
follow
bundle
your
them and
hashtags
analyze them is if you go to something
and
like this,
potentially
for example,
mimic them.
You
as
see
well.
this is
now
only using
besides
like
images,
one
I'll
hashtag,
say
so they could
videos
be
work
using
really well.
a few more. I
But
want to use
as you know, with Instagram, you can't really
but
take
as you
long
can see,
videos like you would.
they're
on
definitely
YouTube.
using a good
videos
amount of
will be
hashtags,
like
probably
short,
about
very
5
short,
or 6
10
or so.
second or
But
less.
let's just keep
clips.
clicking. So this
So
one
if you
here
can
is
do
a good
that,
example.
you can also use
we can
that
see scuba
to
diving,
increase
scuba,
your
Ecuador
engagement as well.
dive. Welcome back. This is video number 8
related to
this is going to be traffic
animals,
source
save your
number
sharks
4.
and stuff.
So congratulations,
this guy
you have
is
reached the end
piggybacking
of
on
this video course.
a different organization.
So this
like
is
Save
somewhat
Our Seas,
a
Save Our
mixture
Sharks,
of traffic and
South
optimization.
America.
This is something that
So
most people forget about.
basically,
But by doing
he's taken
so,
all
you
these
will rank
keywords
higher
or
in the
hashtags
Instagram
that relate
ranking
to each other,
system,
but also
the
relate to
algorithm,
this
and all
picture
that,
and
that will
hashtags
help you. So
and that's
basically,
great.
if you
So
think
he's
about it, if you
hashtagged
optimize your
10,
post,
15 different
then
hashtag
you'll tell
keywords,
Instagram where you need to
and
be
he's got a
ranked.
good amount of likes.
You'll attract the right
and all that.
person, and
Now,
then
I will say,
you
like I said
will
earlier,
get the
don't
right
take
traffic. You'll
these
get more
keywords
conversions, likes,
and
then you'll
hashtag every
increase
single
your
post.
rank.
Use
So the
different
next traffic
posts and
source
different
is
keywords
image
every single
captions.
time. So you
Believe
can
it
use
or not,
scuba
your
diving
image
consistently,
captions make or
but you want to
break
kind of mix it
whether
up.
you
Make it look
attract
like
the
you're not
right or
saying
wrong person.